Today I fucked up by pretending to know the girl who thought she knew me. I, 29 meters, was waiting for my order in the local coffee shop. Also in the store waiting for orders was a girl who looked around my age and a guy who seemed to be a bit older, 35 to 45. I noticed the guy was talking the girl's ear off and she didn't seem very interested in the conversation. Next thing I notice, she's approaching me saying Brian. My name isn't Brian. But before I could correct her, I remembered reading something online that said if a girl ever pretends to know you, play along, she might be in trouble. So I played along and started having a friendly chat with her as if I knew her. Well, not long into the conversation she looks at me and goes, "Wait, you're not Brian." To which I respond, "I know, I thought we were doing a thing." Then a bit louder and annoyed she says, "Why would you pretend to be someone I know?" Exclamation mark. Now the guy she was with before comes over and asks if everything is alright. Knowing I had fucked up, I just told them honestly what I was doing. Turns out he was her boyfriend and he was talking about fantasy baseball. That's why she was so disinterested. She found it funny and thanked me even though I read the situation wrong. He was kinda offended but understood. I have never been more embarrassed. Too long didn't read, some girl mistook me for her friend, so I pretended to be him because I thought she was trying to use me to get out of a conversation with a creepy guy who turned out to be her boyfriend, and she just actually thought I was a different person. Edit, hey, thanks for the awards. And I'll proudly rock my new title as Brian due to this encounter. You're now Brian as far the internet is concerned. I'll wear it like a badge of honor. Nice meeting you, Brian. You will henceforth be known as Brian on this subreddit. Had something kinda similar at a wedding. I had to sit beside an acquaintance's wife who didn't seem to like me. For years she never bothered talking to me and usually just stared at me with this annoyed look. Whenever I usually tried talking to her being friendly, it went nowhere. She seemed kinda snobbish. I gave up after a few years. I'm seated and she arrived, figured it'd be awkward couple hours. She turns and starts talking my ear off. I was like, WTF is going on here? Super friendly, and at one point she said something like my face is in her memory as being friendly but nothing else. Asks if we were friends. I lean over and look at her husband puzzled. Apparently she was jogging and got hit and run by a car. Got head damage, lost all memory. But whatever happened made her a totally different person. Interesting that the implication is that she did think of you as friendly prior to the accident. It might be embarrassing, but I think you did the right thing. You didn't know what the situation was and you were just trying to help. Yeah, relax Brian. You did fine. Today I fucked up by accepting a package for my neighbor. Edit, since this post got so much attention, Amazon sucks, unionize. The driver is fine as far as I know. Saw him yesterday driving around the block. The other day I accepted a package meant for my neighbor who was at work. It was a hot day, so my windows were open. However, it was also very windy. So my apartment door is right next to the front door. I was laying in a t-shirt and shorts on my couch, no socks or anything else. So I take this box for my neighbor and boom, my door closed because of the wind. I had no keys, no phone and no socks. That's when this amazing Amazon driver stepped up. First he tried opening my door with a card. Afterwards he let me call my parents with his phone. Then he insisted on driving me to their house to get a spare key. I wanted to give him a tip or something, but he drove away the second I stepped out of his car. My hero. TLDR, locked out of my apartment, saved by Amazon guy. Edit, windows weren't wide open, more ajar. Hope it's the correct word. Like upper half of it were open. Mark the day he came, and whenever you see the package truck on that day, try seeing if it's him and give him a chocolate or something. Edit, how the fuck did I start an international argument about thank you chocolates? Ahem, when is a door not a door? When it is ajar. I've been locked out of a house in Germany. Whole night though. I was house sitting and dumbly let the auto-locking door close behind me. I used a barbecue grill cover as a blanket for the night. Saw a little hedgehog outside though, which was cool. I accepted a package for a new neighbor once and she accused me of stealing. The item that was missing from the package, according to her, was the base of the umbrella stand. The package was perfectly sealed. When I gave it to her, deleted. They're usually on a real tight schedule, so he was really cool for taking the time. I picture him moving a bunch of piss bottles off the seat when he got in the truck. Today I fucked up by almost killing my roommate's brother. I'm using a throwaway account as I'm guessing what I did isn't exactly legal. I'm sorry if this is long, I'll include a too long didn't read at the end. It didn't happen today but 2 years ago. I was living with a roommate while I saved for my own place. My roommate was lovely, for the most part, but her little brother was always staying with us. Her brother was lazy, never did any chores at all and had pretty much turned the living room into his own personal bedroom without ever paying a cent in rent. As unbearable as that already was, he did the most annoying thing that any roommate could do, which is stealing food. He was constantly stealing my food, pretty much every day. It started with him just taking ingredients like flour or coffee which I didn't care about, but eventually he started stealing snacks and even took my leftover meals a few times. Eventually I got sick of this and confronted him. I knew it was him because my roommate was a vegetarian and he wasn't. I confronted him a total of I think 3 times, and every time I did, he would deny it or just laugh it off, blaming my forgetfulness or my boyfriend, who happened to be celiac, so most of the things that disappeared were off limits for him. This drove me insane to the point that I eventually just bought my own fridge and put it in my bedroom. As you can imagine, this did not stop him. He even took coffee creamer from my fridge and left it on the counter to spoil. This led to me screaming at him to leave, which made my roommate furious. Turns out she wasn't as nice as I thought, and he was back in the house 2 days later. My landlord was a jerk and I knew that asking him to deal with RM's bro wouldn't work. However, I did ask to install a lock on my bedroom door, but he said he would only let me do it if I paid a fee. He was only asking me to pay something like $30, but I thought that was insane and refused. Not wanting to piss off the landlord anymore, I decided to take matters into my own hands. I knew that my roommate's brother was allergic to strawberries, however I didn't know how severe this allergy was. I also knew that he absolutely loved buffalo wings, because he'd taken them multiple times before, and later that night, in blind rage, I decided to make some buffalo wings with a secret ingredient. Sure enough, my plan worked and I got a call at work from my sobbing roommate. She was in the back of an ambulance with her brother because he'd had an extremely severe allergic reaction. At the time she cussed me out for putting strawberries in buffalo wings and not warning anyone, but what her brother failed to tell her is that he'd snuck into my bedroom to steal them. Once I told her this, she calmed down a bit and was just frustrated. I didn't tell her that I'd done it on purpose, but I'm sure she would have put 2 + 2 together at some stage. Her brother was okay in the end, although I did find out that he would have died if she weren't home at the time. He never came back to the house after that, and I only saw him one more time before I moved out 2 months later. I feel incredibly guilty that I could have cost him his life over some food, but at the time, I thought the allergy was fairly minor, and I'm sure he's learned his lesson about stealing food now. Too long didn't read. Roommate's brother persistently stole my food, even breaking into my room to do so. I made buffalo wings with a special ingredient and he nearly died of an allergic reaction. Edit: some people are misinterpreting the part about the fee for the lock, so I'd just like to clarify. My landlord wanted me to pay him $30 so I could buy my own lock and install it myself. He said the fee was for potential damages to the door or something similar. I'm confused how someone with a food allergy was so careless with what they eat. I would be so nervous about how any and all food is prepared. Edit: thank you for the awards! Exclamation mark. When you got deadly allergies, stealing someone else's food is a sort of suicide attempt. Carrot: I make Thai peanut wings all the time. If somebody allergic to peanuts stole that out of my fridge and ate them without pausing to see if their deadly food allergy was present, I would honestly have zero sympathy. I had a housemate constantly stealing my food, milk, eggs, etc. Like I would only get to 1 or 2 eggs of the dozen, or milk for like 2 bowls of cereal before they were gone. I had been labeling my food on my shelf in the fridge, and it had gone so far that the last time I labeled individual eggs with Sharpie. I go to the kitchen and see a pot on the stove boiling some water. In the water are eggs labeled with my name. I am ashamed to say I lost it. I smashed the eggs real good in there. Took their wooden spoon, lying on the counter next to the pot, and smashed it as much as I could and put the pieces in the pot too. I left that shit boiling. The housemate never said anything about it, but there was a new carton of eggs on my shelf the next time I went to the fridge. Dude, my sister has a severe nut allergy, as severe as your roommate's brother's was, i.e., if someone is not with you when your windpipe swells shut you will die. And like rule number 1 for anyone with that kind of allergy is that you don't eat anything without knowing the ingredients. So what the fuck was this guy doing just eating random food out of other people's fridge? He was being reckless and it sounds like he needed a wake-up call. Jeez, I at least hope he was carrying his EpiPen. Well, if he was very allergic to something, he really shouldn't help himself to food without a declaration. Sure, buffalo wings and strawberries is an unusual combination, but I made chicken wings with a sauce containing blackberry jelly. There are lots of recipes out there, and if he's that allergic he should have been more careful. This was 100% on him.